Have you ever stopped to wonder what your cat is actually trying to communicate when they place their paw right on you? Yes, it is incredibly cute. But beneath that adorable gesture lies a profound message that the majority of pet parents completely overlook. In fact, it is one of the most emotionally significant actions a cat can perform. If you handle this moment incorrectly, as most owners inadvertently do, you might quietly damage the very bond of trust they are attempting to build with you. Before we dive into the details, take a moment to reflect on your own companion. Recall the absolute last time they reached out and touched you like this. What were you doing? Were you having a meal? Scrolling through your phone? Or perhaps you were drifting off to sleep on the sofa? Keep that specific memory fresh in your mind, because by the time you finish watching this video, you will comprehend exactly what was racing through their mind at that very second. And believe me, it is miles away from what most people assume. 1. They need something but refuse to beg. Have you ever noticed your cat gently resting a paw on your arm while you're trying to eat dinner, typing away at work, or just relaxing on the couch? Here is the real story behind that behavior. Your cat wants your attention or a favor. However, unlike dogs who might whine, bark frantically, or push their nose directly into your hand, felines approach the situation with an entirely different etiquette. They tap you. This soft, deliberate touch is their elegant way of saying, "Excuse me, please." It is polite, incredibly controlled, and entirely intentional. Why this matters? Cats did not actually evolve to communicate with human beings through vocal meowing in the way you might naturally assume. That high-pitched, kitten-like vocalization your adult cat reserves for you is actually a learned behavior they developed almost exclusively to manage humans. In the wild, fully grown felines rarely meow at one another. Two adult cats crossing paths outdoors are not going to sit there meowing back and forth. They quickly realize that meowing works like magic on humans because we are biologically wired to react to it the same way we respond to a crying human infant. The paw touch, however, operates on a much deeper level. This gesture is directly borrowed from how felines interact with their own kind. Kittens will use their paws on their littermates to get attention without provoking a conflict. Similarly, mother cats receive a gentle paw tap from their kittens when it is time to nurse or be groomed. It is a low-pressure, peaceful signal that translates to, "I am right here and I need you, but I am not going to demand it." It is deeply embedded in their social vocabulary from the day they are born, long before a human ever steps into their lives. What makes this even more remarkable is the reason they selected you to ask. Felines do not just tap anyone. If your cat chooses to place their paw on you instead of meowing relentlessly or swatting items off your counter, it serves as proof that they trust you to react appropriately without them needing to escalate their behavior. Think about that for a second. A cat who lacks trust in you would completely bypass the polite request and jump straight to the high-drama alternatives, screaming for food at the crack of dawn, knocking over your coffee mug, or engaging in an intense staring contest from across the room. The paw tap is a privileged communication channel reserved solely for someone they genuinely believe will listen. But there is a subtle layer to this that most people overlook. This gentle contact is not always driven by a desire for food or play. Sometimes, it serves as the initial indicator of a much more profound connection, a rare level of vulnerability that most owners fail to recognize as it happens. We will explore that specific meaning at the very end, and honestly, it might permanently reshape how you view your feline companion. 2. They're claiming you as their property. Have you ever questioned why your cat doesn't simply rub their cheek against you when they want affection? Why do they specifically choose to use their paw? Here is a fascinating piece of anatomy that many pet owners are completely unaware of. Your cat possesses specialized scent glands embedded right inside their paw pads. Consequently, when they firmly press that paw against your bare skin, your sleeve, your face, or your leg, they're doing far more than making physical contact. They're actively marking you. While this is fundamentally territorial behavior, it doesn't stem from aggression. In fact, it is quite the opposite. Your cat is softly declaring, "You belong to me," using the most intimate method available to them. They are depositing invisible chemical signatures all over you, signaling to any other animals or visiting cats that you are officially taken. You cannot smell these pheromones, and you will never even realize they are there. Yet, to an outside cat stepping into your home, you have already been claimed as designated property before you even open your mouth to say a word. Take a moment to let that sink in. When your cat delicately rests their paw on you, they are engaging in a quiet ritual of mutual ownership. You aren't merely their caretaker or the person who opens the food cans. You are officially their human, and they want the environment to recognize it. What makes this dynamic even more compelling is just how selective felines are about what they choose to mark. They certainly do not claim random objects. They only mark things that hold genuine value in their lives. Their absolute favorite sleeping blanket, the specific corner of the sofa they have designated as their kingdom, or the doorway they pass through every single day. Notice how they never extend this paw gesture to random pieces of furniture or to strangers who walk through your front door. This specific marking behavior is strictly reserved for what they consider truly precious. So the next time that little paw makes contact with your arm, remember that you have just been officially chosen, not merely adopted, not simply tolerated, but deeply chosen. Hey, if this commentary is bringing you closer to your pet, please take a quick moment to hit the like button and subscribe. It truly helps us connect with more dedicated cat lovers who want to decode what their pets are genuinely trying to say. 3. They're checking if you're still breathing. Have you ever been deeply immersed in a nap on your couch, only to be suddenly startled by a soft paw pressing directly against your face or chest? Perhaps you brushed it off as your cat simply being a bit pestering, or maybe you concluded they were just demanding an early dinner. But what if the reality was that they were conducting a check to see if you were still alive? While that might sound incredibly dramatic, it is a very real biological response. Felines are extraordinarily sensitive to movement patterns and changes in breathing. This intense situational awareness is exactly how they survived for thousands of years in the wild, operating simultaneously as skilled predators and vulnerable prey. When you remain perfectly still or sleep deeply for an extended period, you cease to emit the familiar behavioral cues they constantly rely on. There's no talking, no shifting of your weight, and the rhythmic movements they know so well disappear. To your cat's sharp senses, this sudden stillness feels unusual, prompting them to investigate. That paw resting heavily on your chest is actually measuring the subtle rise and fall of your lungs. That light tap against your cheek is an active search for a physical reaction, any definitive sign that you are perfectly fine. Certain cats will even stand perfectly still and lock eyes with your face for several long seconds before they dare to tap you. It is almost as if they are carefully studying your condition first, scanning for the absolute. For they learned this move from their mother. Why do felines rely so heavily on their paws to express their emotions in the first place? Where does this foundational habit even originate? The answer takes us all the way back to the very earliest moments of their existence. When your companion was nothing more than a tiny kitten, completely blind, deaf, and entirely vulnerable, they depended 100% on their mother for survival. During that critical phase, one of the very first physical actions they mastered was rhythmically pushing their paws against her belly while nursing. This specific alternating motion, widely known as kneading, naturally stimulates the mother's milk flow. This instinct runs so incredibly deep that it manifests before a kitten's eyes or ears even fully open. It represents one of the very first coordinated physical movements they ever execute in life. Crucially, this action achieved something else of immense value. It firmly established a profound sense of comfort, absolute safety, and the reassurance that everything was perfectly fine. The rhythmic, repetitive press of a paw against their mother's warm body became permanently linked within their developing nervous system to feelings of warmth, nourishment, and ultimate protection. The primary pillars a newborn kitten requires to survive. Here is the truly fascinating part. While the vast majority of cats completely outgrow the physical need to nurse, They never shed that deep-seated emotional association. That specific pressing motion remains permanently hardwired into their psychology as a powerful, self-soothing mechanism. When your fully grown adult cat steps up and places a relaxed paw against you, they're tapping right back into that ancient, comforted state of mind. In their eyes, you have stepped seamlessly into the role their mother once held. You are their ultimate sanctuary of safety, the one place where they can completely lower their guard without fear. This explains exactly why so many cats will deliberately place a paw on your arm and then immediately curl their body up or close their eyes to drift off. The physical contact itself acts as a neurological trigger for total relaxation. It signals to their nervous system, "I am completely safe with my person." It is also the exact reason you will notice this specific behavior occurring most frequently right before you turn out the lights for bed, or just as they're settling down for a long, peaceful nap directly in your lap. They aren't simply adjusting their posture to get physically comfortable. They're actively recreating a profound, emotional state that stretches all the way back to their first few days on Earth. Some cats take this beautiful behavior a step further by kneading your lap with both paws simultaneously, completely losing themselves in that comforting memory of kittenhood. If your cat does this while purring like a tiny engine, drooling slightly, or gazing up at you with heavy, half-closed eyes, that is the absolute closest a feline can ever get to look you in the eyes and say, "When I am with you, I am home." 5. They don't want you to leave them. Have you ever noticed your cat suddenly stretching out a paw to pin you down right as you are preparing to stand up? It almost feels as though they managed to read your mind before you even made a physical move. The truth is, they actually did. Felines are masterful observers of human body language. They routinely identify microscopic shifts in posture that most humans would completely fail to notice. The exact way you redistribute your body weight right before rising, the subtle buildup of tension in your leg muscles, the tiny shift in your breathing pattern when you prepare to move, or even the briefest glance of your eyes toward the kitchen or the front door. Your cat processes all of it instantly. When they swiftly extend a paw to touch you in that precise moment, they're issuing a direct, heartfelt appeal. Please stay right here. This behavior does not stem from unhealthy neediness, nor is it a sign of standard clinginess. Instead, it represents one of the most genuine, unvarnished expressions of emotional connection a cat can possibly display. They have meticulously studied your daily routines. They recognize the exact signs that mean you are about to abandon the sofa, slip out of bed, or exit the room entirely. And rather than passively letting you walk away, they actively reach out to stop you. What makes this reaction so incredibly poignant is that cats are not creatures that naturally broadcast their vulnerabilities. They are fiercely independent animals. They instinctively mask physical pain and go to great lengths to pretend they do not require assistance from anyone, even when they are feeling unwell or frightened. A cat experiencing physical discomfort will almost always opt to hide away in a dark corner rather than step forward to beg for comfort. Consequently, when a feline actively communicates a vulnerability by asking you not to leave their side, even through this quiet, subtle gesture, it carries immense emotional weight. This also perfectly clarifies why this specific paw behavior tends to sharply escalate around very predictable moments in your daily routine. Right as you're getting dressed for work in the morning, when you open up a suitcase to pack for an upcoming trip, or the exact moment you attempt to stand up after spending an hour cuddling with them. Their internal biological clock and their ongoing assessment of your personal habits are sharper than the vast majority of owners ever realize. In fact, certain cats will initiate this protective paw placement several minutes before you even consciously make the final decision to get up from your seat. They're simply reacting ahead of time to a real change in your breathing cadence or physical posture that you weren't even consciously aware of yourself. 6. They're saying, "I'd risk my life for you." What if a single, understated movement from your cat carried a weight far grander than you ever imagined possible? Remember earlier when I mentioned that certain paw touches indicate a much more profound bond? a level of absolute trust so incredibly rare that many owners live their entire lives without ever truly recognizing it. This is the exact concept I was referring to. When your cat deliberately extends a paw, rests it gently on your body, and leaves it there completely relaxed with zero muscle tension, they're actively acting against every single survival instinct coded into their DNA. They're making a conscious choice to render themselves entirely defenseless in your presence. To appreciate this fully, consider what a feline fundamentally requires to survive in a hostile environment. Lightning-fast speed, flawless balance, and the immediate capacity to spring forward in any direction at a split second's notice. Keeping all four paws planted firmly on the earth means they are completely primed for any scenario, fully prepared to escape danger, launch into a fight, or react to an unexpected threat. The moment they lift a single paw off the ground and rest it heavily on you, they have effectively cut their immediate escape options cleanly in half. They are communicating a profound message. I have absolutely no need to run away. Not while I am with you. In a natural wild setting, exposing oneself like this would be incredibly hazardous. A feline caught completely off guard with only 3 paws anchoring them to the terrain is an animal that stands a very high chance of losing their life to a sudden ambush. Every single instinct passed down through thousands of generations of evolutionary survival screams at them. Stay balanced, stay completely alert, and keep your feet ready to move. Yet, in that peaceful moment spent by your side, your cat isn't dedicating a single thought to basic survival. Their entire focus is anchored on pure connection. This represents the ultimate, absolute peak of feline trust. It isn't happening because they're trying to look cute for the camera, nor because they are manipulation tactics for a treat. It is meaningful because, in that serene moment, they are actively choosing companionship over their own deeply ingrained survival instincts. Biologically speaking, there is genuinely no higher praise or deeper compliment a cat is capable of offering a human being. A canine companion might showcase their affection through a dozen loud, energetic, and obvious displays. A feline, by contrast, refines their love down into this single, whisper-quiet physical gesture. For a cat, calm, unhurried vulnerability is the rarest and most valuable currency they possess. So if your companion frequently offers you this gift, resting that little paw against your skin and simply leaving it there in a state of total, fluid relaxation, never push them away. Do not laugh it off as a silly quirk, and resist the urge to immediately get up just because you have chores to attend to. In that fleeting moment, you are being told in the only language your cat possesses that you are their ultimate sanctuary, that you are true family, and that out of every single person, object, and location in their entire world, you're the one individual they chose to be completely defenseless around. The big picture. Let's quickly review what that single, delicate paw resting against your arm could truly signify. A polite request. It could be an elegant, quiet appeal for attention, with your cat asking for help without stooping to loud demands. An act of ownership. It could be a silent claim of possession, with your cat safely marking you as their personal human using specialized scent glands. A vital wellness check. It could be an instinctive health inspection, ensuring that you are still breathing safely and completely okay. An echo of kittenhood. It could be a comforting psychological throwback derived directly from their very first days nursing with their mother. A plea to stay. It could be an unspoken request for you to remain by their side, born from their intense observation of your body language. The ultimate display of trust. Or, in its rarest form, it is an act of absolute love, choosing emotional connection right over their own ancestral survival instincts. The reality is, you may never completely pin down which specific reason is driving them in any single moment, and that is perfectly fine. What truly matters is realizing that absolutely none of these motivations are trivial. Every single tap is an active attempt by your cat to communicate something profound to you. The next time that soft paw makes gentle contact with your arm, your leg, or your face, you will move forward knowing it is never random. It is never a nuisance. and it is most certainly not nothing. Now, I want to hear directly from your personal experiences. Which of these 6 explanations caught you by surprise the most? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below, because honestly, the story behind the evolutionary wellness check catches people off guard every single time. If you have watched all the way to this point, you clearly possess a deep love for understanding your feline companion on a much more sophisticated level. Go ahead and click that subscribe button right now, because we have an incredible amount of deep dive content coming your way very soon. The very next time your cat reaches out their paw and gently holds you close, take a brief moment before you react or move away. Just sit quietly with them and accept the gesture. Because in that beautiful, silent moment, your cat really isn't asking for much from the world. They're simply asking to be close to you.